Happy Sunday, y'all. Hello, friends. I'm back. This is the second part of my video. It is, for me at least, the same day, just a very, very long day. I had dinner. If anyone's curious, I had a chickpea and kale soup. It was actually very tasty. I make this it's like a coconut curry thing. It's very good. So I had that, and now I feel slightly more centered and slightly more sane again. So with all of that said, let's jump back into it. I've got about 6 minutes and 44 seconds worth of video to show you. I don't know why I said about, I know exactly how much. And we're just gonna go through that. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna do it together as a family, as a group of people. And we're gonna move on. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, there's I've been sent so much stuff, just clips, I can, there's so many things I can ding these people for. Never done it, but you know what, you want to play that game, that's fine.
She's got such a short memory because she has done it before. If you guys remember, she has struck, I don't know if it was Amber, I'm pretty sure actually it was Chantal, who struck Zachary Michael's channel and then also took down Hussey's channel. So she does strike people. She just doesn't do it often anymore because she's been on such a losing streak when it comes to these strikes. And honestly, I think correctly. I think that she's claiming that it's not fair use, which is what she's going after under. She can go after it under potentially like bullying, the bullying statutes, but those are a lot harder to prove, I think, because it implies intent, which can be more difficult to prove. And last but not least, Chantal's all bark, no bite. So if it ever comes down to an actual court case, Chantal's not really going to do anything for multiple reasons, I think. One of which being, I don't think that she cares about pursuing it, but also secondarily, I don't think that she has the money to actually follow through with it. Now, I'm not saying she should or shouldn't. I just don't think that Chantal really saves anything. I'd be very surprised to find out that she has a decent amount of savings. She just, anything that she gets from YouTube, she spends. And now that she has Natter, he seems to be spending her money very open-handedly. She also says that she's been sent a lot of clips. You know what? I want to see this proof. I want to see what clips it is that she has, what evidence does she have against people in the Hater Nation. I want to, because I know who she's going after. She's going to go after Callie, she's going to go after Charlie, she's going to go after FFG, right? Those are the three big ones. So I want to know what you have that's evidence against it, because putting it out there isn't going to change anything. If it's evidence, it's evidence, right? Whether we know about it or not isn't going to make any kind of difference. And if it is going to go to a court, I mean, discovery means they're going to get all of the information you have in a court case anyway. There's no point in keeping it secret. So if you have something, put up or shut up.
Yeah. And the same members who come in here just to be fucking annoying and then go in her chat. No, I'm sorry, but if you're a VIB, VIB twice a week for now, but members only chats, just because you pay $4.99, you think that's gonna give you entitlements to just be a complete asshole? You're fucking wrong. And
okay, it's not about being a complete asshole. I think if someone is coming into your chat and being a complete asshole, absolutely you should block them. You should delete them. Absolutely. Regardless of how much money that they're giving you, it doesn't give them the right to treat you poorly. But Chantal's definition of what being treated poorly is the problem here. She considers anyone who isn't 100% in her court, who isn't 100% supporting her, who questions her story, who questions her motivation, who isn't on board with her flip-flopping between her abusive ex-boyfriend and the breakup that she's currently experiencing, is apparently a hater. That's the problem that a lot of people have with the way that she behaves on the internet. It is not appropriate, quite frankly. You can say whatever you want about us, right? About Hater Nation. But these people liked you enough to pay $4.99, no matter how small of an amount you seem to think it is, to become fans of yours. And what did you choose to do with that? You chose to essentially spit in their face. You need to own your actions a little bit more. People don't just decide to become fans and then the next day they're like, oh, I guess I hate her. People are much more complex than that. You know, they need well thought out reasons for why they no longer like you. And if you're not choosing to address any of that, I mean, whatever, that's on you. But understand that by ignoring them, you are actively alienating the paying member of your audience. And that's happening more and more and more. I can't imagine that she's gaining subscribers. Well, I mean, you can see it. If you watch this video all the way through to the end, you'll see how many people she blocks. And you'll see in the video how many she gains. And she blocks at least a few people in every video now, it feels like. So she goes off on these tangents, she rants, she blocks a bunch of people, but she's not gaining new subscribers just as fast. And I imagine there's still a population of people who are just dropping out in and of themselves. If it was me, it would be one thing, right? Because I have another job, I have another revenue stream, I'm not concerned about it. You know, that's one of the reasons why I have a Patreon, but I don't have a membership. I was thinking of doing it for a while, but I just decided not to. I just have it in one place. People want to become fans, they can. If they don't, they don't. That's perfectly fine, right? But nothing I put up on YouTube is really dependent on that. And the reason for it is because this is not my job. It's also the reason why I disappear sometimes for a week on end. And yeah, I feel bad for leaving you guys hanging, but I'm not out here beating myself up because I don't need the income from this. I have a job, I have a life. I have stuff that I do to earn income. Chantel doesn't. This is her whole job. There is no other career in which you can completely ignore the feedback that you're getting and still expect to thrive. And I know Chantel's made controversy a part of her brand, and so she goes off on tangents and she flip-flops and people like the mess and all that. But there's a difference between being messy and entertaining and likable and being messy and entertaining and being unlikable. And the difference is whether or not people want to give you money. Because quite frankly, you are only doing members only live streams now. Most people who are not fans of yours just leave comments in the comment section or they go to other channels. People are not even trying to go into your chats anymore. The very infrequent times where you have an open chat, you can barely tolerate that long enough to do anything, quite frankly. Right? You are on there for 30 minutes at a time and you can't handle the amount of criticism you're getting, and so you bitch out. All I'm saying is that you want to treat people like garbage, there are going to be consequences. And it might not be now, it might not be immediately, but eventually this is all going to catch up to you. And I worry that when it does catch up to you, it's going to result in something like homelessness. Because God knows that no one else is going to take you in, right? Who? Your family, who you've alienated, your mother, who you didn't go to see when your grandma died. You could knock up with Cokie anytime you want. You couldn't go see your own goddamn mom when your grandmother died? Are you kidding me? Who else is there in your life? You have no friends. You've alienated your family. You've got one friend, and that's Pete's. And you've put him in the situation that if you default on the payments for this house, you're going to ruin his credit score too. Forget him being able to let you live with him. He might not be able to get another place because you need a good credit score to be able to find a place to live. You are burning bridges at such an alarming rate. And she doesn't seem to realize that no person is an island, but at the rate that she's burning bridges, she's going to become one. It's just going to be her and Cokie on one island, and that's it.
And I'll be an asshole right back. Give you some of your same, that's my new thing, give you some of your same medicine.
New thing implies that it isn't something she's been doing forever. You've been a fucking asshole to everybody forever for a very long period of time. It's what you do, right? People will say something to you that they don't agree with. Like, I could come on here and say, I don't agree with the fact that you are getting back together with this man. He's toxic, he's manipulative, and you should not be with him. And she's going to interpret that as she's going to interpret that as hate. And not, hey, this is not someone you should be with. He is no good for you. Which is what it is. It's advice. I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm telling you that, hey, this is a bad idea from my point of view. But I'm not there forcing your hands, making you type a message to him to break up with you. I'm not doing that. She interprets anything that she does not, that we don't, if we don't agree with her in that exact moment, and she changes her mind from minute to minute, right? So it's up to you to keep up with where she is right now in her natter back and forth, breakup, back together, high school fucking bullshit nonsense relationship that she has going with this horrible, abusive, drug addict man, right? So she's going back and forth in this nonsense. And if you at that right moment are not supportive of whatever action it is that she's committing to, even though 4 seconds later she's going to change her mind, then you're a hater. And she'll block you and she'll delete you. And then she, eventually she realizes how many people she's blocked and how many people, are no longer fans of hers and how little money she's getting. And she'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I understand that you guys are only trying to blah, 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 lip service, lip service, lip service. And that's all it is. It's just her mouth moving. Nothing she says at that point is genuine. All she sees at that point is dollar bills. Until the next time you say something that annoys her. And then she'll go right back to blocking you. And that's why you can't, when she unblocks people, I think people see that as a sign of, oh, okay, she understands. And I've seen that. She put up a message a little while ago saying that I'll unblock people. And there are people in there saying, oh, it's good that you're giving people a second chance. No, she's not giving them a second chance. She's just realized that she is literally cutting off her money supply. If you are willing to let yourself be used in that way, then honestly, I think it's a little sad. It's your money. Do with it what you want. If you want to put it into a pile and burn it at the altar of Chantel's greed, then you go ahead. That's up to you. But it does make me question. It does make me question you as a person. It does. It just does. If you are I forgot who it was exactly. Sandra, I think it was Sandra something. Chantel spoke so poorly of you, and you are still there. You are still being fans with this girl. You are still all in her chat. That the lack of self-respect that you have is just amazing. Because you had better believe if anybody spoke to me the way that Chantel spoke to Sandra in that video, I would have been gone so goddamn fast your head would have spun. And I would have burned every bridge I could on the way out.
Come and take your medicine, bitches. You're getting blocked. That's it. That's all. Go hide or shut the fuck up. Right? Right.
Same to you then. Hide or shut the fuck up. Especially when you don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to listen to what other people are saying? Don't watch their videos. Why do you bitch out so much? Why do you sit there and complain for hours and hours and hours on end? And, FFG said this, and Charlie said this. Call me a ambulance.
So that's it. BBJ is fine. Actually, it does make me mad that you think I would let anything happen to BBJ. Actually get hurt.
The opinion that I have of you, Chantel, I cannot begin to tell you how low of an opinion I have of you as a person. It doesn't mean that I want something to happen to you, but you're sitting there saying, I can't believe you guys would think I would let something happen to BBJ. Oh, I do. I think that you would let this man kick your cat, and then you would make excuses for why the cat deserved it.
And, yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about the subject.
It's never all she's going to say about any subject. Chantel is incapable of letting things go. We have already discussed this in my previous video. And because she cannot let things go, because she is essentially a hurt collector, she will sit there and she'll ruminate on the same point over and over and over again. And she'll let it go in this video, maybe not let it go, but she'll stop talking about it in this video. And then in the next video, when something else irritates her, it'll come right back up just as fast because she hasn't let it go. It's not actually past her, right? People who are good at letting things go don't feel the need to continuously talk about the same thing over and over and over again.
You can keep going on about it. Go on elsewhere about it, like I said.
Until her next rage stream, right? She's like, you can go on about it, but go on about it someone else. You're going to bring it up again. You know you will. That's why I know that she'll bring up Nader, she'll bring up her cat, she'll bring up whoever it is, whatever drama it is that's happening in her life. She is incapable of keeping her mouth shut.
There's fucking Reddit. There's 5,000 Kiwi Farms pages. There's Facebook groups. There's subreddits. There's, what else is there? Twitter.
Yep.
Instagram. You can go hate on me on all the social media platforms. Sign up for them all. But on my VIP live streams, you can shut the fuck up and have fun or go away.
The problem is that you're not having fun. some of your VIB chats are just you sitting there and like high off your mind on drugs, which fine, whatever. They're boring, they're not my jam, but if they're fun for some people, then whatever, have at it. But a lot of them are you sitting there crying or complaining about your relationship and saying, why doesn't he understand? Why doesn't he understand? Wee. And then you'll cry about it and you'll complain about it. And then the next video you're like, oh, I know I told you that he did all of these awful things and that he's cheating on me and that he verbally berates me and that, you know, he potentially abused my cat and that he put out cigarettes on me. I don't know if that last one is true, but there's been some speculation. All of those things happen, but I'm going to go back to him anyway. And if any one of you complain, shut your mouth because you're wrong, right? Because he's a good guy, you know? Just because he does all of these terrible abusive things to me doesn't mean that he's an abuser. Charlie Gold's an abuser, though, because she made a few internet videos about me. You know, if you put a cigarette out on her arm, it doesn't make you abusive as far as Chantel's concerned. If you can give her D while you're at it, then it's fine. But since you can't give her D, then I guess everything else is abuse, right? Complaining about your life choices is abusive when there is no sex involved for Chantel.
I'm sick of your shit. Thank you.
So for context, this is towards the end of the video. She there's a lot of like filler in the middle. She stops and she gets like some uber sugary drink as she's wont to do. And this is the ending part of that stream. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have the timeline correct here. But honestly, I've been watching so many of her videos to try and keep up a little bit that I might be getting a little confused. So if that's not what happened, you can let me know down in the comments below. But
as for Nads, what I did coming on here talking about my story, when his channel, when we were like, you saw him doing videos, you saw us being happy together, singing and dancing, we were like doing really good. Like, I had made the decision to, after everything, to just move on. And I think everything just like resurface over and over, and it just kept making me mad, and I would just come on and like saying people are lying and like that I'm lying about my story. But
the thing is that you can spin whatever narrative you want about you two being happy and framing it as if the arguments are a outlier in your relationship as a whole. But everybody has seen your videos, right? It seems that every couple of days you guys will have some tiff or another, more often around the time where you're running out of money. And then all of a sudden you guys are broken up and then you get back together. There is honestly, the last time I can remember somebody having this sort of a relationship and feeling this seriously about it was like fucking middle school, right? In middle school was the last time that I remember somebody like getting together, then breaking up, then getting together, then breaking up, then just going back and forth like that. Because in a normal adult healthy relationship, especially fucking she's almost 40 years old. In an almost 40-year-old's relationship, you shouldn't be behaving like you're in middle school. You're not a child. You either are together and you've got some minor problems and you can work through them and you've got a healthy regular relationship, or you don't. In which case, most 40-year-olds recognize that and then they break it off and then they go on. I mean, even most 30-year-olds, even most mid-20-year-olds are getting to that point. You behave like a child, but you expect to be treated like an adult. Just because you are an adult doesn't mean that I'm going to indulge in your tantrums. You want to throw a tantrum, you go right ahead. But I will treat it as exactly that. I'll treat it like a tantrum. You are not deserving of my adult reaction to your problems because you are not having an adult reaction. Sending somebody 47 text messages and then being mad that they're ignoring you is not something that an adult does. It's what a child does. And last but not least, I mean, God, girl, you know as well as I do, you're going to come back on here and you're going to talk about it as often as you want. You have no control over yourself. And worse, you don't want to have any control over yourself. Chantel loves to phrase it like, well, I'm impulsive. But she's not like, she doesn't have bipolar, right? She's not bipolar, which bipolar disorder makes it hard for you to control your impulsivity. There's certain other like cognitive disorders that make it difficult for you to control your impulsivity. One of them is ADHD to a certain degree. She doesn't have anything like that. Chantal is just garden variety weak-willed. She is unwilling to make any kind of decision that causes hardship to her, which is why she'll sit there and she'll be like, she'll talk about him one minute, and then the next minute when they're back together, she'll just come back on here and apologize. She has no conviction behind anything that she says. She believes what she says, but in a very sort of vague, non-committal kind of way. There is no weight to anything that she says or anything that she does. It's why I have such a hard time giving her the benefit of the doubt. It's why I have such a hard time believing anything that she says. Because her own words mean so very little to her. She is not beholden to her own word. And a woman who's not honest with herself in the privacy of her own head cannot be honest to anybody.
Blah.
And last but not least, if your relationship consists 50% of the time of like dramatics and arguments and fighting, then it's not an outlier situation. That is your relationship. Your relationship is toxic and argumentative and awful. That's what they do. They fight, they get back together. They fight, they get back together. They spend a good 50% of the time arguing with each other and like seemingly at each other's throats. You are not like a healthy, functional relationship. If that's what you're doing 50% of the time, if that's what you're doing 20% of the time, there is something wrong in that relationship. Fights and arguments should be outliers. They should happen on an infrequent, though honestly in most relationships that I've seen, even healthy ones, it's like a consistent thing. Because you're two individual people, and that's how it should be, right? You're two individual people with individual wants, needs, and preferences. You're gonna clash heads. But if you're spending this much of your time disagreeing with your partner, then there is a problem there, and they are not the right person for you. Even if they didn't have the underlying problems that Chantal and Koki's relationship have, which are, in case anyone's forgotten, the copious amount of drugs that he has procured for her and let her do, one of which she became addicted to, one of which was coke. Supposedly she's kicked the habit, but you'll never convince me. There is, of course, also the abuse, the fact that he's hit her. There is the fact that he has gone to jail, that he might be in jail right now. There is the fact that he has supposedly been violent towards her cat. She said herself that he swatted her and that he chased her around the house. Right? And there's, of course, I'm sure, a variety of things that I'm missing right now. So you're looking at all of these things, and you look at the fact that you spend so much of your time arguing, and you want to sit here and you want to tell me how you're in love with this man and how he's very loving towards you, how it's a healthy, functional relationship, it's something worth fighting for. Let it go. Make like Elsa, and for the love of God, let it go.
So I felt like talking about rehashing what happened in detail wasn't a good thing to do. It was a really shitty thing to do because like the cops got called, just like all this messy shit, and like, sorry, my nose, I think I have a cold. I don't know what I have actually. I think I have a cold. I've been double vaccinated, but people still get COVID, but it's not that, it's just feeling run down and stressed out. You know how I get, like last time my throat got sore.
She talks about how, you know, she wants to rehash the entire situation whenever they get into a fight. She wants to come back on here and she wants to like rehash everything that happened. What Chantal wants is to have an audience as a spectator and supporters to her version of events. She wants compliance from people. She wants people to make her feel better about her actions. Because there is a part of her that knows that what she's doing is wrong. And she wants people to tell her that it's fine. And unfortunately, there are still enough members of her chat that do that, right? Some people are turning on her. So I think Annie P has said multiple times that she's she's no longer in her chat. I don't know if I've seen her recently. There are people out there who are like more and more becoming disillusioned with her. I think Savage Keyboard was one of them. What was the other one? The Punisher was one of them. These are people who have been like her ride or dies for a while. They're becoming disillusioned with her and they're abandoning ship. So you're sitting there and you're saying that I just like coming on here and rehashing. What you actually want is for your audience to make you feel better. And this is what I meant when I was talking about the my Uno reverse parasocial relationship that Chantel has with her audience. Because as much as Chantel's audience has connected with her in a manner that I deem to be vastly inappropriate, Chantel has also connected with her audience in a very similar manner. She uses the attention that she gets from them, she uses that as a drug, even more so than she uses weed or that she used cocaine. She uses their attention, their devotion to her to justify her own poor behavior and actions. And she believes that because they are there supporting her, well, they can't be that bad. I have this many people saying that it's fine. You don't crowdsource support like that. None of these people fundamentally know you. Relationships are give and take. They're back and forth. You give to them, you take from them, and that's how a bond is formed. That's why it's mutual, like I was talking about in my previous video, right? Like it's a mutual relationship. What you have with your audience is parasitic because they provide you with money, company, support, and what do you provide them with? Your bitchy attitude and blocking them at every other turn whenever you deem that they're being too critical of you. And the fact that the fact that there are people willing to put up with that absolute nonsense is rubbish. It's absolute rubbish.
I think that's it. So anything else regarding my past with Natter, my relationship with Natter, regarding negative stuff, whatever, you don't approve, unsubscribe, ask for Google for your fucking money back, do what you gotta do. I don't give a shit. If I have no members, I'll just won't do live streams. That's it.
Yeah, and that's going to be real punishing to us, right? She won't do live streams anymore. They'll be really, really punishing to us. That's what she's implying here. She's like, if I don't have any more members, I just won't do live streams. You come on to your live streams and you just sit there and you do your hair. You're not doing it for our benefit. We don't gain anything out of it. You don't even say anything important. When you're high out of your mind, you come on here and you get something out of the live streams. That's why she live streams so often. What's that saying? If you enjoy what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. That's pretty much what it is for Chantel. The reason why she has taken so well to doing live streams, it's partially because, it's much, much easier than having to even do the minimum effort videos that she was doing before. But also because she now just gets to sit there and she can just come on here and get all the validation, all the support, all the love that she wants. And that's also why she stopped reading the comments. Why would she go back and read any of the comments on her videos? Anyone whose opinion she cares about is going to be in her chat. If you're not paying her, then you're probably a hater anyway. And she's doing it on purpose. I read this thing where they were talking about how, those like Nigerian scams where they send you those emails and they're like, I'm a Nigerian prince and, I need you to send me your bank account information. And, if you give me like some money to set up the wire transfer or whatever, I'll send you like $10 million, whatever garbage it is, right? And they're always poorly written and there's like spelling errors and there's like logical errors in there. And the vast majority of people look at that and they go, this is a scam, and they just delete it. The people who fall for it, right? It's a self-selection criteria. Like there's self-selection happening there. People who read that email and think that it might be credible are the kind of people who also wouldn't notice if words are spelled incorrectly or they're talking about like, a bank or something like that, but that day the bank is closed. They wouldn't notice any of the logical problems that something like this could have. People who don't notice any of those things are also the kind of people that would be easy to scam into taking a bunch of their money from. And that's what Chantel has too. She's essentially set up her own like scam scheme. She's selecting her audience. She's like, she said as much before, right? She's like, you can't, if you're my VIB, then you can't be in FFG's chat. You can't listen to both sides of the argument. If you're one of my VIBs, then I don't want you listening to anybody else. My word is law. If I get out in the middle of day and I say it's night, then you have to believe it's night. If you can't do that, then obviously you're not a true supporter. You're not a true subscriber. This is like cult level of like gaslighting and manipulation. It's disgusting. Last but not least, she had mentioned, and I forgot to talk about it when she'd originally said it. She's like, oh, well, you know how my throat gets. It gets really sore, and, you know, when I get really run down and stressed. I'm sorry, but what exactly is stressing you right now? Once more, you're not exactly dealing with the death of your grandmother. The only thing that's happening is the stuff online. And Chantel gives anything anybody has to say online very little credence anyway. If it's your relationship that's stressing you out so much that you're getting sick, like physically sick, then that is a good indicator that it is an unhealthy and toxic relationship. You shouldn't be doing that. In fact, one of the biggest indicators of health outcomes for people who have like cancer long term are whether or not they have like a healthy support system. People around you boost your immune system. If you're getting sick when you're around other people simply because of how much they're stressing you out, that is a good a reason as any to leave them.
I mean, I don't know what to say. You guys know, like, you guys know, my true Beezers know that I love my cat. I would never hurt her.
My true Beezers know. Who are these true Beezers? The people who give her money, who she hasn't blocked, who are always supportive no matter what she says. When she says that he's abusive in every way, that he's extremely toxic, it's an unhealthy relationship, and they're like, yeah, I totally believe you. And then 4 seconds later, she's like, I'm back together with him. They're like, yep, absolutely, makes sense. Like, the people that she wants on her side are like, have you guys ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine? She wants like a Charles Boyle, but without any of Charles's integrity. That's what she wants.
That I love you guys, and I just want to entertain you guys, and I care what you think, but some of you know I don't, and
I care for you guys, you know, I appreciate what you guys think, I want to listen to what you have to say, but some of you I don't. Some of you I don't care about. Some of you I don't want to listen to. And who are those people? Anyone who says anything negative about me. That's how love works. That's how care and friendship works. If you're not 100% in my court, then you are obviously an enemy of the state and will be shot down. That's a logical, normal way to behave. That's a reasonable reaction to have to people who are literally out here trying to give you their money.
You will be blocked. But yeah, there's a lot of like bullshit going on YouTube with fucking flagging and just for like revenge. Like, get a life. Like, what kind of people? Like, who has the time to dedicate? Like, people. Like, I told you about some privacy complaints. Like, what's your point? You're gonna waste all that time if it's not like.
Okay, here's the thing. A privacy complaint is essentially just saying that she's revealing personal information about someone that she should not be revealing, right? 9 times out of 10 when a privacy complaint is filed, it's by the person whose information was revealed. I've seen a few of those, not in the context of this community, but in other communities. As for revenge mass flagging, yeah, I'm sure. There are times where videos are mass flagged and taken down because people just don't like the creator and they don't want them to succeed. With Chantel, there are terms of service violations in almost every video that she posts. In almost every video that she posts. So you cannot sit here and tell me that, you know, people are mass flagging you. People are flagging you. They've been doing it for a while because there is something wrong with your content. I mean, if you're on the internet, you're gonna generate some amount of hate. Anyone will, right? If you're not ruffling anybody's feathers, then you are doing something wrong. I get, sometimes people will like report me, they'll say, oh, her videos are like harassment or bullying or whatever. But it tends to be a very small amount of people. The vast majority of people who interact with my channel either like me, they don't like me, they leave me a comment, they don't leave me a comment, and they're like, whatever, do your own thing, right? People don't really go out of their way. Like that, it takes time, energy, and effort to actually report someone. So unless you've done something to piss them off that badly, and if you've done something to piss them off that badly, there's a high chance that you probably did deserve to be mass flagged. 1 or 2 trolls I can buy, but a giant amount of them, especially because Chantel's channel is not like my channel, right? She's got 80,000+ views. She's got almost 90,000 views. Something like 80,000, 90, something like that, right? She's almost at 100,000. She's got a ton of subscribers. So YouTube cares about her channel. YouTube actively wants to court more people like her. They want more people making content that people view because it generates money for them. That's all YouTube and Google care about. So they don't want to take down your channel. And they're going to give it a lot more consideration than they would give a channel like mine, which is much smaller and generates much less money for them. So she's getting concerned about the amount of like mass flagging and stuff that's happening. Then she knows she's doing something wrong. And she should know, quite frankly. She breaks terms of service all the time. The fact that she's still existing on this channel it's amazing to me. And yeah, it would suck if she was no longer on YouTube because then, you know, I wouldn't have anybody like to talk about. But once more, either I continue making this channel or I don't. I don't care. It's not something that like sustains my life. It's just something I do for fun. But if your channel goes away because you're being a dipshit on the internet, your channel goes away because you're being a dipshit on the internet. And then what are you going to do for money?
YouTube is used to false flagging. They're used to mass flagging. People, like, they're not stupid. Obviously, they're aware of, like, revenge flagging or whatever for no reason. Like,
yeah, you're right. That's why, guys, YouTube is aware of it, you know. You can't convince them to take down my channel, so why are you even trying? You should just stop.
That's just so stupid. There's, like, no grounds whatsoever to flag my videos.
Excuse you? There's no grounds whatsoever to flag your videos? How about the rampant drug use? How about the very frequently occurring flashes of nudity on your channel? How about those? Just those two. There's a ton of other violations, but I'm just going to focus on those two things. And by the way, you can like delete it from your side. You can like hide the videos from us. YouTube has records of everything. So if someone else, like say people on the farms or people who react like I do, have clips of stuff like this that we're talking about, of you just being like an absolute weirdo on the internet, that's proof. No one has done it because there are bigger fish to fry for most people. Like that requires time, energy, and effort. So for all that you're being matched for, if I were to go through and clip together every time she has like shown her full ass, and I mean this literally and not figuratively, of course, because if it was like figuratively when she shows her whole ass, it would be like 5 years long. But when she literally shows her ass on camera, if I made a clip show of that and I put it onto YouTube's radar and people started retweeting it on Twitter, you had better believe they would have to act. And by the way, they don't have to take down her channel. And this is where I think she is actually worried, right? For all that we are saying that, oh, you know, where people are mass reporting or whatever, YouTube can do something else. They can just demonetize her whole ass channel. And then what is she going to do? That is a bigger concern for her right now than I think mass deletion, because it's possible that YouTube looks at her channel and says, I don't think that there's enough in here, but we don't want someone who does this many drugs on camera to continue to put this stuff on there and for her streams to be monetized. We're just going to demonetize her whole channel. What are you going to do then, Chantal? This is your life. You are literally playing with your life.
And like, you know, like honestly, eating lokma and doing edibles, really?
Yeah, dude, eating edibles in the quantities that you do, it is problematic. You take enough to literally sedate a large stallion.
All you have to do is not fucking watch it. Like, not watch my videos. That's all you have to do.
And fair enough. If you don't like Chantal's content, don't watch Chantal's content. And to a certain degree, that's what I do. Unless she's doing something that I think is dangerous. Like if she's driving and reading her like comments and stuff like that at the same time, then absolutely please report her. Because Chantal doesn't give a shit about her own life and whatever, that's on her, right? She wants to be dangerous and reckless and crash her car, that's on her. But when you're driving a car, that is a 1 ton or several ton like machine that you are operating that you could hit someone else with. And if something happens to that person, oh my God.
And you're morons, because the people doing the flagging are audiences of like reaction channels, certain reaction channels. And it's like, if my channel disappears, so does your income, number one. Number two, who are you gonna pick on now?
I mean, she didn't really have a second point. Those are both the same point, really. And once more, I would just like to point out that there's a ton of creators on here who you are not a job to them. A lot of the smaller creators, genuinely, none of them really make a ton of money off of their channels, right? And yeah, it might be like a nice like bump. Oh yay, we've got a little bit of extra money, but doesn't make up the bulk of what they actually need. Most small creators, I would say. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of them earn around what I'm earning or maybe a little bit more. Right? This is not a sustainable, livable income. I wouldn't even be at the poverty. Even if I had like many, many more subscribers, I was doing much, much better. YouTube doesn't pay like incredibly well. I'm not like rolling in the dough here from YouTube cash. So if your channel goes away, then either we find somebody else to talk about, and some of us will make it, I'm sure, and some of us won't. And that's fine. It's survival of the fittest. And you know what? None of us are really counting on this as income. Well, most of us aren't. So it's fine. Do you think that people like, take Charlie, for instance. Charlie's one of the biggest channels that's there, right? Charlie talks about Chantel. Charlie takes months off at a time. She takes weeks away where she's just not uploading anything. Do you think that she doesn't have any other way of making income? She's still living in the exact same place that she was living before. So obviously she's got a job. Obviously she's paying her bills. She just doesn't need YouTube to do it. And then take someone like Zachary Michael. Zachary's a huge channel too, right? He talks about several people. He's very entertaining. And he's really good at talking about other people. So if you went away, for a very long period of time, he didn't talk about her at all. If you went away, he would just continue talking about those other people, right? Callie's covered a bunch of other creators, including Nick Avocado, and Sagittarius Shorty. I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. They'll talk about those people. And maybe their views won't be as good. Maybe they won't like get as much money, but they'll be fine. And me, who spends most of her time right now talking about you, well, maybe I just will stop uploading altogether. Maybe Milk Tea will stop uploading altogether. Maybe a few of these other channels like Puppy Syntax will stop uploading altogether. We all have jobs. We all have lives. We all have things to do. You're the only one who relies on this and this only. And I don't mean that just for income. She relies on this for her social activity. She relies on this for company. She relies on this for validation. This is her therapy. This is her friend. This is her everything. She doesn't have anything else in her life. There's literally nothing else. There are no friends. There's no family. There's no nothing. There's no nothing.
No one messier on YouTube than me. So good luck.
Nick Avocado is. He genuinely is messier than she is.
No. I'm actually grateful and blessed that I get to just be myself. Like I said, like my reputation's ruined. I'll probably never get another real job. Thank fucking God.
It's so easy to say I'll probably never get another real job when you think that you can do this forever. But her channel is already dying. Her channel is barely gaining any subscribers. It gains a little bit, it loses them all, right? She's going back and forth like that. She is really overestimating how long she can stay relevant. Every channel dies. I've said this so many times, but even the biggest of YouTubers, 99.9% of them who were like giants at one point or another, their channel is now dying, right? Take Joey Graceffa, take Tyler Oakley, take Emily Nicole, take Michelle Phan. They were giants in their time. And one day, Tana Mojo and Nikita Dragon, the Paul brothers, their channels will start declining. Nobody can stay relevant forever. You know, new YouTube audience, new sources of entertainment. Chantel's channel is going to die just like everybody else's. It's a cycle. It is what it is. And I'm sure mine will too. I'm sure mine will die a lot faster than hers will. But that doesn't mean that you should, I don't know. It seems to me that she doesn't seem to realize this. It seems to me that she's purposefully burying her head in the sand about that. Because anyone who's watched YouTube, consumed YouTube for as long as she has, understands this. There's very few people who can stay relevant for that long a period of time. Like the only one that I can really think of at the top of my head is Philip DeFranco. Genuinely. And if you guys know anyone else, please do let me know. I mean, I'm not in every community, so I don't know. But I can't think of anyone who's been on YouTube for like that long and is still like killing it and doing better every year, in fact. When your channel dies and you are no longer employable, what are you going to do? Like become a burden on the Canadian government? Because that's the only option that she's going to have. And it's not even just a matter of the fact that, you know, she's not, that she can't work. I think that there is a good part of Chantel that doesn't want to. There's something very mundane about having a 9-to-5 job, and Chantel sees herself as being exceptional. It's one of the reasons why she keeps wanting to go back to him. She wants to be that, you know, Hallmark movie female lead who like meets a bad boy and turns him good. That's why she does a lot of the stuff that she does. She lives in this world that she is exceptional, that she is special, that consequences don't happen to her. She lives in a very delusional state of mind. When your channel dies and people are not going to want to hire you, what are you going to do? And you're not even capable, she's not even capable of doing things like working at like Zellers or whatever, right? She's not capable of like walking around and helping the people in the store. She can barely walk, she can barely move. The older she gets, the more medical complications she's going to have. Or maybe that is her plan. Maybe her plan is that I'll die at 50 and that's it. And until then, I just got to keep my channel going. And if that's how she's living her life, that is just so fucking sad.
And you're so you're so unemployable now. Good. I don't want a job anyways. I will give blowjobs for Burger King sauce if I have to. That's it. Yeah, being racist.
You know, sorry. I'm gonna leave that clip until the very end, but you might have to, girl. Literally, you might have to. Because I don't really know that the speed at which you're going, you're going to have another choice. It's really easy for people to think that sex work is not like an easy thing. It's difficult. It requires energy. It requires a lot out of you. It's work. It's like work. And in a lot of ways, it's more emotionally draining than a lot of traditional jobs are. So it's really easy to say, well, you know, like I'll suck a dick if I have to, but you need a type of mental strength to be able to do stuff like that Chantel has not displayed in any fashion whatsoever, ever.
Oh, that's, of course, a white man talking about them in any way because they're black. Watch, they're going to flag this too. Guaranteed race card. Yep. Race card. That's what she did to me too. All makes sense now. Go ahead. Take my channel down. Charlie, take my channel down. Whoever else. What the fuck are you going to do for content?
They'll talk about someone else, Chantel. And this narrative that you're spinning that like they're pulling the race card. I just want you to understand that the man that you're speaking in defense of has literally used the N-word. So next time you want to come on here and tell us how non-racist you are, remember that fucking clip, okay? Because you're coming on here and you're defending a person, very vehemently, it seems, that the only thing he did wrong was he was white and he was criticizing black people. No. When you are threatening to come to people's house with weapons, when you are saying the N-word, where you are, you know, saying, you know, why didn't, I don't want to say his name, but why didn't FFG's ex hit her harder? You know, when you're threatening to beat Shane. When you come on here and you say, I don't know why people say that I'm an intolerant person. I don't know why people say that I'm a racist person. I don't know why people say that I'm a bigot. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. There's no reason to be flagging my videos. This is why. People don't feel compelled to just flag people's videos. You say and do things like this that rile people up so much. And the fact that you don't seem to realize your own culpability in the way that you behave is so disheartening. There are people out there in the world who don't, I'm having a really hard time formulating this without just getting really, really mad. right? You don't, let's just leave it at this. You don't know what you're talking about, Chantel. Okay? And if you think that you have a handle on this, you think that you're in the right here, how about this? Go to any friend that you have that's from a minority group. Go to any minority group friend, right? And ask them if this argument that you presented holds any water, right? Preferably, you'd go to somebody who was black, but anybody who was in a minority group, I think, will be able to set her perspective straight. Because this isn't the first or the only time that people like me have had to listen to an argument like this. I get it a lot. I'm like, well, they're just taking your side because, you know, you are part of X, Y, and Z group. We don't need YouTube or Google's pity. The reason why Negs' channel was taken down is because what he did was wrong. Your pity means nothing. Google was forced to take this action because he was wrong and they were right. At the end of the day, that's all there is to it. There's a ton of other truly horrific people that are still on here, that are still functioning, that are still creating content. And the only reason why their channels haven't been taken down is because they were just smarter than Negs was about the way in which he operates. You are throwing your support behind a garbage person, behind someone who says the N-word, behind someone who is transphobic, behind someone who is generally just a bigoted person who goes after children. You're going to do that, and then you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me, oh, they're playing the race card, just like they did to me. You have now equated you and Negs together, okay? No one else did that for you. You equated the two of them together. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're going to reap what you sow. So this is probably going to end on a little bit more of a somber note than I had meant for it to. I am sorry. Some of the things that she said, especially in this video, really got to me. Thank you guys so much for being here, as always. Thank you guys so much for listening to me, as always. Subscribe, you know, hit like, whatever, all those things. Leave me a comment down below if you want to. Whatever. Just this argument, this last thing that she said, it's just really deeply disheartening and upsetting. Anyway, I will leave you guys with that. I'll probably be back in a couple days, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And I want to say a special thank you to my $25 patrons, Oceana Songs and D. Higgins. Thank you guys so much. You guys make so much of this happen. And as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Dane TB, Jam Beans, Sidra Z, Colleen L, Debbie Elliott, Just a Jude, Kate O, and a special thank you to my $25 patrons, D. Higgins and Oceana Song.